Hello, my name is Mahad, and today for freedom of speech social media, I'll be discussing what ways can we deal with the harms of hate speech on social media, including the roles of more media literacy, education. Either not the responsibility of more regulation should be on the government and social media companies. My first main point is that I believe the best way to deal with the harms of social media, such as hate speech and disinformation, is by educating ourselves as people, as we tend to click and share posts without properly verifying if the information is real or not. This can be done by using factually trusted sites such as factcheck.org, politically correct, and etc. And that by proofreading, we can tell if the information that we receive is right or wrong, as well as the potential of politics being a role affecting our news being misinformed. This is extremely important for our young generation who get the majority of their information from. According to a study from Pure Research Center in 2017, social media was tied with news.org at 35% of where people got their information from. Also, in a similar study, 55% of social smartphone users receive news alerts on their devices, and about 47% of them receiving alerts clicked through to watch the story, thus proving that the majority of people do not check their information. My second main point is that governments should regulate more than they already have done. And the reason for that is that before I go into that, we need to understand the arguments and from both sides that think about regulation. The argument from pro-regulation is that they believe it brings political stability in defense of our democracy, which allows free-flowing elections without the harm of intentional disinformation. Another argument for the pro-regulation side is that protecting the well-being of minorities from hate speech and discrimination. Now that you understand the arguments for the pro-regulation side, now we can do the anti-less regulation side. The anti-less regulation side believes that regulation is not suited for well-devised, diverse populations with massive difference in opinions and political views of the world. This is why many social media companies are people centered for simply having a different political view or point of view that is different from the status quo. For an example, conservatives face far more censorship than their liberal counterparts in a study in 2014 that demonstrated that liberal users are less likely than their conservative counterparts to get exposed to news content that opposes their political views. This is why I believe government should be more role of regulation, as social media companies tend to be more into political stuff and hence hinders freedom of speech for its consumers. While I believe the government has done a good job of censoring misinformation with bills like Bill C-11 and not going overboard in censorship due to our Charter of Freedom Rights, which has an entire section on free speech. I think the role of courses like this help educate us more about misinformation, disinformation, and help us teach us the pointers of having our news checked and resourced. I think I was extremely ignorant of this reality of the information that we consume. With this information, I can now educate family members of how to deal with harmful disinformation in the world and how to check the information that they receive if it's factually correct or not. Programs like this help our generation educate the world on how to deal with misinformation. In conclusion, I believe that the best way to stop misinformation, disinformation is by educating ourselves with courses like this on how to verify our information. I believe freedom of speech should be maintained by the government since they're the ones who made charter rights for it and issued regulation from social media companies that tend to be very political motivated and thus hinder freedom of speech. Thank you for watching.